The 2nd of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
We're ready to go. Okay, so we are back to this sugya. And what are we trying to do over here? We're trying to figure out a way to explain this Tosefta of Shataf Nahar in a way that it won't be a kasha to Rava. Because the Gemara was, what's the case? The case was the Tosefta says Shataf Nahar, all different types of items, beams, and this and that, and the other thing, and it takes it from the person, sweeps it away from where it is, where the person owns it, and sends it downstream far away. And the din is that the finder who finds it far away, Hare Elu Shalo, it belongs to him. Because the Bailim have he can rest assured that the Bailim have given up. And the Gemara was Medayik. Time of this nice this Yaishu Habayim. The reason why it's din of Hari Shlo is because the we could say that the Bailim know that it's been lost from them, and like accordingly they will be Meyayish because they know. And from that the Gemara is Medayik Hostama, but otherwise the din would not be Hare Elu Shelo. In a case where he wouldn't be in an ordinary case where he's not necessarily knowing that the item has been lost from him already, it's a case of Yeh Shalom Midas, and the din would not be Hare Elu Shelo. So that was the kasha on Rav. And that the Gemara answered, Hakabamayas Kinan, Ishayochel Lahatzil. Now, what are we talking about? Says the Gemara. We're talking about a case where he's able to get it back. He's able to save it. So we read yesterday in Rashi. What does that mean? Yochel Hatzil. Rashi says the Tachvasab in a similarly situated case, other than the case of Shataf Nahar, the Metzia Acheres. Somebody finds another item that wasn't washed way far away. It's a Davish Yesh Bo Simon. Yochel Yitain Simon. Ulito. And he could take his item if he just gives the Simon. Modina bo the chayav lahaksir. Here we see that Rava is moda, that he will be chayav to return it. Or that this brisa, this Tosefta agrees, is moda that the din would be chayav lahaksir. Okay. And then the Gemara said, Ihachi. If that's the way you want to resolve the matter, so let's take a look at what it says in the Sefer, Ema Sefer. What I'm pausing over here about is what exactly is the Gemara answering according to Rava? It's not readily apparent what exactly is the Gemara's answer. So in other words, this that the Gemora was medayik, that in the case of a stam aveda, and when we mean a stam aveda, an ordinary aveda, we mean the type of a case, not like shatuf nahar that everybody knows and everybody's talking about it, and it's clear that the one that lost the item, he also knows that it has been lost from him. If we're talking about an ordinary case, doesn't have those trappings, so then the din would be otherwise. The din would be Einu Shalom. Would not the finder would not be able to keep it. So that initially was a kasha to Rava, who holds Yesh Lo Midas is Yesh. If it's Yesh, why couldn't he keep it? So we're answering, the Gemara is answering, we're talking about a case of Yochel Hatzil. Meaning, we're talking about an Aveda that the owner of the Aveda that lost it would be able to retrieve it, to be matzil it. Rashi explained, what does that mean? That it has a simon. All he has to do is answer the notice that he saw in the shul that somebody found his item, give a simon, and they'll give it back to him. So he won't. There's no reason for him to be ma'ayish. That's what the Tosefta had in mind. And that's the case. And that's the case. That is the that the Tosefta means to imply. Hastama, the din would not be Harei Yerushalayim, but like that, it doesn't represent a kasha on Rava, because Rava, Rashi said, will also be moda in such a case. That the finder won't be able to keep it, right? Because when we say Yesh Lo Midas, we talk about a case of Yesh Lo Midas, we are talking about a case which is assuming that even though the owner does not know right now that his item has been lost from him, but when he does find out about the fact that it has been lost from him, he will undoubtedly be miyayesh. That's the machlokes. That's the case of machlokes between Abai and Rava. Rava says since we know that he will eventually be miyayesh, even though right now he has not been because he doesn't even know that the item is lost from him. Nevertheless, we judge that in halacha as a yeyosh. That's Rava's chiddush. That's Rava's chiddush. So here, all the Gemora is doing is saying that what we're talking about over here is a case of an item that has a simon. And so if we don't have the unusual trappings of Shatuf Nahar, where everybody knows, so then the case will, so it won't be Harei L'Shalom, it'll be L'Hachris. But it doesn't represent a refutation of Rava because we're all we're doing is we're saying that the Brisa, I'm saying all of this for myself so I understand the Gemora. So I hope it helps you as well. We're saying that the Gemara said Hostama Lo is talking about a case where it's a davar sheish bo siman that he lost. That's all. Very simple answer. And it's an okimta in the Tosefta. We got to say that that's the case the Tosefta is talking about. Talking about that case, even and it's true in the case of Shatuf Bo Nahar. Even if the item has a simon, the owner nevertheless will give up. Okay, we said this actually yesterday, so that's fine. Okay, so now we understand it. We did some review, and now we really know it. And now we could go weiter. Ihachi. So who you want to read Ihachi?
Ihachi. If so, Ema Seifa. Consider the second half of the brisa, or the last part of the brisa. Im hayu habalim mi yarfin acharehem. If the owner was chasing after them, chayev the chazir, then the finder is obligated to return them. E bicholin lehatzil, if the situation is he's able to save them, my Irya Miradfin. Why are we talking about him chasing after them? Afilu ein Miradfin Nami. Even if he's not chasing after them, also, if they have a sign, then we can assume that he didn't abandon them. So we don't have to say that he's chasing them.
So the fact that the Seifa of this Tosefta is talking about a case where the loser is running after, he's desperately, frantically running after his item to make sure that it doesn't get too far away from him and they can claim it, that the Gemora says, why would he do that other than the fact that it doesn't have a siman? If it has a siman, there's no reason for him to do that. He knows that it's his. He could prove that it's his, and so even if he doesn't grab it right now, in its being splashed and drowned away from him, he'll get it tomorrow or the next day with a siman. So therefore, the fact that the Seifa says that he's rodef achareihem, that he's running frantically after them, would indicate that we cannot say about this Tosefta that it's a case of Yochel HaHatzil, that the guy has a siman. That's how I would understand the question. If Yochel HaHatzil, my area Meradfim, afilu a Meradfim nami. Even if he's not Meradfim, he also won't be Miyayish. He'll be so much on the fact that he could be matzalit tomorrow or the next day by giving the siman that he has on the item. Okay. So that was a challenge to the Gemora's first answer of Yochel HaHatzil, and now the Gemora is going to answer this challenge. Oh, do we have a Rashi for Lou? For Phil to read? Afilu ein meradfin nami.
Okay, let me find the afilu. I know what it is. I'm trying to find afilu ein meradfin, even if we don't run after him. Also,
yes.
The samche a hatzah that he relies
The samche
a hatzah that'll be saved. The Lamacha on the next day, Yoma or the day or on another day, or the day after that, V'lo mi'aishe. He wouldn't have any. There's no yish on that because he'll have a shed that'll be saved and he'll get it back.
In other words, if the guy is running frantically after the item, then the implication is that if he doesn't do this, he won't be able to get it tomorrow or the next day because it's and why would that be? Because he doesn't he's not able to be matzalit through giving a simon. But if you say that he has a simon, so there's no reason for him to run after it right now. Let him wait until the day after that comes into the hands of the person that it comes in the hands of, and then he'll find out who has it, and he'll give a simon, and he'll get it back. Okay, so what's the Gemara going to answer to this? And so therefore, there would be no reason for him to run after. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to answer this. No, really, there is a reason for him to run after. It's true, and it's also true that it's even though that it does have a simon. So how could that be? Let's see how the Gemara explains it.
Hacha b'mayas kinin. With what are we dealing here? The kulin lehatzil al yedei hadhak. The case in which he is able to save the lost item only with difficulty. Miradfin lo ayeush. Therefore, he immediately chases after them. Therefore, if he immediately chases after them, he indicates that he does not despair. Ein miradfin. If he does not chase after them, ayeush me yeush, then he indicates that he certainly is despairing of them.
Okay, the Gemara is saying the conclusion. We don't understand exactly why. Let's see, maybe Rashi will explain us why the Gemara is saying what it's saying. But basically, the Gemara is saying that it's true, it's possible to save it, but it's not going to be so easy to be able to save it like that by waiting, by not running after it. And there, even though it has a simon, and therefore, if he wouldn't be running after it, in fact, we would conclude that he has been miyayish, because he wouldn't put himself in a situation of only having the possibility of being able to save it with great difficulty. Phil.
Okay.
Next Rashi. Ayidei Atchak.
Nayidei Dechak, that he has to do it with great difficulty. Okay, there we are. The im lo yemeher lahatzel. If he doesn't hurry up to save it, lo yitzilo. He wouldn't be able to save it. He has to really, if he doesn't do it immediately, he's not going to be able to save it. Hilchov, therefore, ein maradfim, if he doesn't run after it, afkari, he would make it hefker. Afkarenet, his hefker would be a hefker. The hayudah, that he would know below hatzil, that he wouldn't be able to save it.
Okay, Rashi's pretty brief in his elaboration and elucidation of this case. I think I remember from last time I read this Rashi that we explained that what does Rashi mean over here? That let's think about this situation over here of the Shatuf Nahar. The river is overflowing and it's flooding. And it's just picking up beams and items of whatever in its way that are by the river over there, the river bank, whatever, and it's just and what happens? They're splashed downstream, and they could be they could be splashed down many kilometers away in 10 communities away. It's possible, depending on how severe this flooding is. So practically speaking, this guy knows this, and he says, look, even though I got a simon, but to be able to find and locate this person who eventually did find it 10 miles away or 20 miles away, whatever it is, many different communities away. There's many different shuls. He's going to have to go into the shul and see if they put a petek on every shul for the next 20 miles. So that's called efshel hatzil ayidei adchak. He's not going to be able to get back this item except with great difficulty, even though he has a simon. So therefore, that's why he's running. That's why he's running. He doesn't want to have to rely on having to locate the finder and give a simon. He'd rather get it right now before it gets drowned away. Okay, and so like that, we've explained why the guy is running, even though it's a case of yochel hatzil. Because in view of the fact that it's a case of Shotov Nahar, it's only efshel hatzil ayidei adchak. It's only with great effort and difficulty that he'd be able to retrieve it, even though he has a sin. But nevertheless, the halacha is true that so now what we're saying is that only when he's running after it do we say that he hasn't given up, even though it has a simon. That's what we see from the Sefer. Okay. In other words, the Reish is talking about a case where he wasn't running after it, and the din taka is hare elu shalo, and it's not a case of yehu shalo bidas. And therefore that case is certainly not a kasha on Rava. But the Gemora asked, but in an ordinary case where there wouldn't be a case that everybody knows about, we would infer that the din would be that there wouldn't be harei u'shalo. That was a kasha on Rava, because that would be a case of yesh lo bidas. On that, the Gemara answered that no, we're talking about a case that it's that there's a simon. So the simon is makes it. It's not really a case of yesh lo midas at all. He's not going to be miyash when he finds out. And this that we asked a question from the Reisha that he's running after it. That's also been explained, as we have said. We're not going to repeat it again. Okay. Very good. So that's the whole story about Shotov Nahar. Okay. And now we go on to the next Toshma. We have another Toshma.
Toshma, come and learn. Ketzad Amru. In what circumstances have the sages said, Hatoram Shalo Midas, one who separates Truma without the knowledge of the owner, Truma so Truma, it works. Hare she yared letoch sadei chavero. If someone went down into his neighbor's field, v'likate v'sarem shelo birshus, and he gathered and separated truma without the owner's permission. He went down to his neighbor's field. He gathered and he took truma without permission. Im choshesh mishum gazal. If the owner objects to the truma, to the separation of the truma, on the grounds of robbery, ein teruma so truma, then it doesn't work. Im lav, and if not, if the owner does not object, truma so truma, it does work. Uminayin hu yodea. Now, how does he know im choshesh mishum gezel v'im lav? Whether the owner objects to the unauthorized separation on the grounds of robbery or not. Hare sheba baal habayis umitzao. If the owner came and found him, i.e., the owner came and found the thief separating the truma, Bamar lo, and he said to him, Kalach etzo yafos. You should have gone to the better grade of produce, to take the fruits and give them to a Kohen as truma. Im nimtza'u yafos mehen. Then if better produce was found in the owner's stock, truma so truma, what he has separated is truma. Im lav, and if better produce was not found in the owner's stock, ein truma so truma, it's not truma. Lik tu haba alim. If the owner gathered additional produce and separated truma from it, v'hosifu alehen, and added it, the new truma, to the previously designated truma, bein kach ubein kach. In either case, i.e., whether better produce was actually found or not, truma so truma, what he, that is the original unauthorized person, what he had separated is considered truma. The owner's act of adding to the previously separated truma indicates his approval of the unsolicited separation. V'chi nimtza'u yafos mehen truma so truma. Now, if better produce was actually found, the Brisa stated that what he separated is considered truma. Amai, why so? Be'id na bisarem. At the time of the unauthorized person separating it, halo have yada. The owner did not know that this person was separating truma on his behalf. Obviously, the Bryson must consider this his eventual consent as demonstrating his consent at the time of the separation. By the same token, we should say that the eventual abandonment of a lost object is viewed as demonstrating abandonment at the time of the loss. This supports Rabba's view. That's the end of that section.
Oops. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Do we have any Rashi for this section? Yes. Okay, Phil, got time? Yeah.
A few minutes. We're up to this. I think I'm trying to find with this Shalomidas that he without knowledge. Let's see that. That's where we're up to. Following that, the owners didn't have knowledge of the truma being taken. That was that case. Now we're up to velikate, because the velikate is that they gathered it together. Lutzorech Baal Habayit, and for the needs of the Baal Habayit, they gathered it. The im chochesh, but if he's concerned, the Baal Habayit, the mafkid al ma she'asazo, and he's particular about what they do. Mishum gezel, because of theft. Sheterem trumata is below Rishuto, that they took its truma without his permission. Okay.
Yeah, he just came down to the field over there. Nobody asked him. The owner didn't ask him to please come down in the field. He goes down to the field and he does some picking, and he does the hafrashas of truma with those things that he picked. So who says that the balabais is pleased that he went down to his field without reshus, and he took this produce without his reshus, and he did truma, precious truma without his reshus. So in that case, if he is in fact makpid, so then the we said that the truma would be ineffective. The taking of the truma would be ineffective. Okay. Okay. Now, klachit yofos. So we have a test, says the Gemora. How should we know that whether he's makpid or not? Let's see what he says when he finds out that this individual took truma from his produce.
Now the klaf yafos They're taking it somehow, right? And klaf, look at the word klaf in the Gemara.
Oh, what does the word klach mean? It seems like the word klach, Rashi is translated as to lelech.
To go. Okay, you should go etzel yafos. You should go for the better stuff. And it's haya lecha. It was for him. Lelech to go etzel yafos, the better produce. Letate mehem lekohen. Then in order to give it to the Kohen.
Right. So if that's what the response of the balabayas, the owner of the field, is that, oh, I would have rather have you gone to get better produce to give to the Kohen for truma. So that is an indication that he is happy with the fact that he went and took truma on his behalf without his permission. Because he even said, "Yo, you should have even taken nicer. Should have taken from my nicer produce to give to the Kohen. I like to give truma to the Kohen. I want to do that, but okay. But bottom line, he's happy that that the truma was taken. He doesn't regard it as the person overstepped his bounds and didn't do what he wanted him to do. Um, Okay, so that was the Gemara's. The Gemara's asked me, "Nine who yodea im choshesh mishum gezelim lav." How do we know that the balabais, whether he's makpid and he didn't want him to he's not happy that he did this? So he sees that he comes along and he sees the fresh was done. Amalo klachet yofus should have gone to take the better stuff. So we say like this, that's not the end of the story. Was he earnest in saying this that he was saying? The Gemara says, Im nimsu yofos mehen. If in fact this individual that owns a field, if he did have a produce that was yofos, that was nicer than what the guy actually took, so then we say truma so truma. Then that indicates that he was sincere about his words, because he does have yafos, and he would have even wanted him to take even those to give to the Kohen. But iblav, but if he doesn't have any peiros that was nicer than that, so then ain truma so truma. Then we see that he really didn't want him to do that. And the intention of the Bailim was to give him a shtuch with these words that he was saying. So, thank you very much for giving away my perus to the Kohen without permission. That's what he meant when he said, "Oh, you should have given the Kohen better stuff." He doesn't have better stuff. Okay. Okay, so that's where we got up to. Let's say there.
Okay.
So we'll see tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem, everybody. Shkoyach, have a great day.
Good. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Be well.
All the best, Phil. All the best, Lou.
Right.
Bye.
Got my picture back.
Good.
Yeah, great.
I just saw a little sign. It said press Alt and A, and I did that, and the picture came back.
Weird. I never heard of that.